Hi everyone, this is Prudence Ticknor. I'm the registered dietitian for Mexicobariatriccenter, and this is the pre-op webinar, webinar diet for your diet. Just a little bit of logistics. Can you guys, in the question box, can you go ahead and just let me know if you can hear me? Great, awesome, thank you. And thank you for your patience. Sorry, I'm starting a little late. Alrighty. So what I like to do, just to be mindful of the time, is as I'm going through the webinar, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and write the questions in the question box. And then I just don't want you to think I'm ignoring you. What I do is I'll go through the entire webinar, and at the very end I answer the questions. And it just seems to be more efficient with time that way. So a little bit about me if you don't already know who I am. Again, my name is Prudence Ticknor. I am the registered dietitian and health coach for Mexicobariatriccenter. I have my master's degree in nutrition, and I've specialized in bariatrics for over the last 12 years. Bariatrics and working with you guys is definitely a passion of mine. I didn't have surgery, but I was morbidly obese and have lost a lot of weight and kept it off, for many years. So, anyways, alrighty, a little bit about the philosophy we do at MBC. So, with the pre-op diet and just the whole, even both pre-op and post-op, because a lot of times what you'll do is you'll Google bariatric eating, or you'll see that a lot of, it's not a lot, but some of the things that I tell you to do is different, and there's a reason for that. I don't do the cookie cutter method a lot of times that you'll see online, and we take a holistic approach here at MBC, and and looking more at not just about weight loss but your overall health. So when I'm telling you to do certain things, it's so you can have, especially with a pre-op diet, so you're going to have a very smooth transition. So your body's going to be healthy going in, as healthy as it can be going into surgery. And so a lot of times you're less likely to have some of the complications that come along with bariatric surgery, like acid reflux or nausea. And then post-op also, I'm thinking about helping you be successful 2, 3, 10 years from now, and not just that immediate weight loss that you get. So looking at how foods affect your brain, because a lot of times when you eat certain foods, they do cause the brain to have cravings, and there's a lot that goes into that. I'm thinking about your skin and the elasticity of your skin, and like I already said, long-term weight loss. Quality matters. There's certain things that you really do not want to go out and try to buy the cheapest version of it. And I mean, your intake is going to drastically change. So just from that perspective of what you're eating is going to be so much less. So there's certain things that you really want to invest in, high quality supplements. And so your protein powder, there's certain things you want to look for, and I'm going to talk to you about that. You really do want bariatric vitamins, especially the first year. Just to kind of give you a visual, your stomach is going basically from the size of a flattened football to the size of your thumb. And it takes months for you guys to get up to what even your baseline nutrition is. And so if you don't have proper vitamins, it's very easy to get malnourished. And then of course a high quality probiotic. So the main purpose, a lot of times you guys think it's to lose weight, and that is not actually the main goal. The surgery is the tool that's going to actually help you with that. But the purpose of the pre-op diet is, the main purpose is to shrink the liver. And so because they have to lift the liver to do the surgery, so obviously if we can get that smaller, it decreases the chances of complications and problems. So that's the main purpose. And then another big reason is, which I already mentioned, two of the big things, especially with the sleeve, if you're choosing to have the sleeve, is side effects after surgery, is severe acid reflux and severe nausea. And it really can cause, you know, problems like dehydration, and because you're so sick you can't even get your fluids in. So the more alkaline your body is going into surgery, the less likely you're going to have those problems. Our food, or the food you've been eating, is very acidic. If you're on a lot of medications, medications tend to be acidic. Coffee is very acidic. Processed foods or sugar is very acidic. So there's a lot of things that you're putting in your body that are acidic. And then you have surgery, and especially, again, like I said, with the sleeve, you're drastically decreasing the size of your stomach, or, you know, your new pouch, but you're still producing the same amount of acid. So obviously, if your body is very acidic going into surgery, and then you have surgery and you're producing an overabundance of acid, the likelihood you're going to have severe acid reflux is high. But if you go into surgery with an alkaline environment where your body's not producing an overabundance of acid going into surgery, you decrease those chances of having those problems. And it makes a big difference with having you can be the person that's sick and barely can get your fluids in, and sometimes people end up in the hospital because they're dehydrated, or you can be the person that doesn't have any of those problems and you have a smooth transition post-op, and obviously that's the goal. You start to, begin your behavior change process, like some of the things that aren't necessarily easy to do, starting to do things like the 30-20-30 rule, which is not drinking with your meals, or learning, what a protein is and what a fat is, and starting to think through those things, finding a protein drink that you really like. So those type of things, it's good to start early and start to train your mind to get into those habits. And then if the last, you will lose weight on the diet, but it's not necessarily the goal. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get a really good, strong probiotic. The brand Raw is probably the best probiotic that I have found. And so what you're looking at is you're looking at the cultures. So you want one. You see, for these ones, the cultures, there's 85 billion. You guys need at least 50 billion, 50. And then you want as many strains as possible. And underneath you see it says 32 probiotic strains. So obviously the different types of strains that you have, it's the stronger your gut's going to be. So what the probiotic does is it really strengthens your stomach. That's kind of the number one goal. So the stronger your stomach is going into surgery, again, you're less likely to have the nausea from food. And it helps also prevent acid reflux. It affects inflammation, so you're going to have less inflammation again because your stomach's going to be stronger. It also helps increase the absorption rate of nutrients. Now, again, if you can't find the raw probiotic, most like Whole Foods, Sprouts, places like that will have it. But if you don't have it, just look for one that has at least 50 billion units, and then as many strains as you can get. And the recommendation for this is 6 weeks before surgery, but let's say you're listening to this and your surgery is not until 4 weeks, and don't stress about it. It's fine. Just start it as soon as you can. The other thing, it's not mandatory, but these are things that, again, are going to make a huge impact in how you feel post-op, and that's apple cider vinegar. A lot of times people ask me if they can do the capsules, and that's fine. If you don't want to do the liquid, you will acquire a taste for it. I know it might be hard to believe, but I've been doing this for years, and I actually kind of enjoy it now because I've just been doing it for so long. But when I first started, I used to gag as well, and so you will acquire a taste after a while. But again, this is one of the most natural ways you can develop an alkaline environment. So even though you think apple cider vinegar is acidic, it's alkaline in the body, so it's going to make a huge impact in the acid reflux. And also, again, it helps with weight loss and absorption. And what you want to do is take 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'd probably start with 1 tablespoon. if you've never done it before. But and especially if you already have acid reflux. So if you have acid reflux even going into surgery, you'll probably want to do it twice a day and do 2 tablespoons, and then just do it like first thing in the morning and then right before you go to bed. And sometimes I'll drink it like it's a tea if it's something you'll enjoy. I put it in a big glass of water, and there's other days I'll just take it like a shot and just dilute it in just a little bit of water, and then I just drink it really quickly. So whatever way works best for you, but start doing this as soon as possible. There's no coffee on the pre-op diet because coffee is very acidic. So a lot of people say, oh, well, can I do decaf coffee? It's not necessarily about the caffeine, but it's about the acidity of coffee. So again, you can't do coffee. And for those of you that have to do 8 weeks or 6 weeks, as long as you're off coffee about 2 weeks before surgery, you're fine. So you can take a little bit of time to wean yourself off of it. But Ticino is a great alternative. I love it. This is what I drink, and it's actually, you can buy it like it's a coffee bean, or you can get it ground, but it actually is just made from herbs. There's no coffee in it, but what's really nice is they have natural herbs in it that give you energy. So it definitely will help with your energy, and it's got a nice taste, flavor to it. And again, some of these things are hard to find in regular stores, but you can definitely order it online on Amazon. Or if you have, like, again, a Sprouts, a Whole Foods, a place like that will definitely have it as well. So the actual diet, so basically the diet is 2 meals and then 2 to 3 protein shakes a day. Let's see here. Hmm. Okay, so let's see. Okay, and then so with your 2 to 3 protein shakes a day, you can do powder or liquid. That's up to you. Powders, obviously are healthier, but I understand the convenience of a pre-made shake. Kind of your very baseline of what you're looking for is you have to have at least 20 grams of protein. Of course, if it has more, that's fine. Most of you don't need those protein powders that have 50 and 60 grams of protein. You just won't absorb it. You won't utilize it. And it has to have less than 5 grams of sugar. So as a baseline, that's as simple as it gets. You look at the label, and does it have 20 grams of protein, and does it have less than 5 grams of sugar? And if the answer is yes to those two things, then yes, you can have it. Now, there's different types of protein. You can do whey-based. I will tell you, because some of you, obviously, you're trying to find a protein powder or protein drink, you can do pre-op and you can do post-op. So a little bit about post-op is if you get a whey-based protein powder, you have to make sure it's lactose-free, because after surgery, a lot of times you don't handle the lactose. So sometimes people have cramping, they'll have nausea, they'll have really bad diarrhea, and it's from the lactose in the whey. So if you're looking for something that you can use post-op as well, you got to make sure if it's whey-based, it's got to be lactose-free. You can definitely do a combination plant-based. I don't necessarily recommend 100% soy-based protein powder, just because one, soy is very, very processed, and then two, soy affects your estrogen levels. So then what does that cause? It causes a hormone imbalance, and a lot of times weight, especially for women, is associated with a hormone imbalance to begin with. So you don't need to be taking something that's going to mess your hormones up even more. Hemp-based protein is really great, but it's high in fiber. So the other thing you got to think about if you're looking for a protein powder for pre and post-op is it's got to be no fiber to very low fiber. So you want like 1 to 2 grams. Try to get it as low as possible for post-op, because fiber bulks up, it expands, and it fills you up, which if you have a stomach the size of a flattened football, you need that, right? You want that. That's great. But you don't want that afterwards, because if you get a protein powder that bulks up, in your system, you're only going to be able to get a small amount of it in, which then what? You're not getting the nutrition in, you're not getting the protein in. So you want to know low fiber protein powder afterwards. So here are some, this is not all inclusive. You know, there's so many protein powders out there. These are just some of the ones that I recommend, especially as far as flavor. So J. Rob's is probably my favorite. You know, again, everything that I recommend is going to fall within those guidelines as far as it's going to be lactose free. The other one, the other thing I recommend is you want something that's, if it's going to be whey based, because that comes from milk protein, is you want it free of the bovine growth hormone. So the bovine growth hormone is only the United States uses it. Every other country has banned it actually. And basically what it does is makes the cows grow faster, produce milk faster, you know, so they can obviously make more money off the cows faster. But, you know, you have to say, oh, if it's making the cows fatter faster and I'm ingesting this, what is it doing to me? And so, and why, you know, because of all the side effects they found in other countries, like I said, the United States is the only country that allows the bovine growth hormone to be used. Undri is another great one. Undri is actually was specifically designed for bariatric patients in mind. So that's another really good one. And I like both of these as far as the unflavored, because a lot of times your unflavored whey protein powder will actually have an aftertaste, even though it says unflavored. And I find that both of these, they don't have that aftertaste that a lot of the other ones use. Be Quick is another one. And most of these, because like I said, a lot of your healthier options are hard to find. Undri and Be Quick, I think you can only buy online. J. Rob's you can buy at like GNC, and you might even actually find it at Walmart, I'm not sure. But you can buy it in some of your local like supplement stores. Some plant-based ones that I like, Aloha is really good. You can see this one only has 18 grams of protein, but it's still, it's fine, it's close enough. And then Warrior Blend. Now again, with what's going to happen with these two, they probably have, a lot of your plant-based proteins have, you know, 5 to 9 grams of fiber in them. So that is not something you're going to be able to do the first 6 months after surgery. So again, you can do these pre-op, but they wouldn't be that easy to do post-op. You got to find a really low fiber protein powder. These are some of the pre-made ones. Orgain High Protein is my favorite. Again, all of these are free of the bovine growth hormone. The other thing too, your pre-made protein drinks obviously have sweeteners in them. So I recommend getting a protein drink that is sweetened with stevia. And why is that? So what research is showing is that people who use sugar substitutes actually eat more throughout the day, by the end of the day, because most of your sugar substitutes like aspartame and Splenda, which is sucralose, they're 600 to 700 times sweeter than regular sugar. So what happens is you're drinking and eating all these products with sugar substitutes in them, so now you've primed your taste buds for that level of sweetness. Well, food is never going to even come close to that. So you basically you crave foods because you're not being satisfied because you need that level. And so, I mean, you know, according to research and stuff, it hasn't helped us, you know, as a whole since sugar substitutes have come out. We've gotten larger as a nation, not smaller. The thing with stevia, it is sweeter than regular sugar, but it's the closest we have. So it's only 150 times sweeter, and it, you know, it's from a natural plant, so it's not a chemical like aspartame. So you know, try to get one that's sweetened with stevia. There's another one on, a lot of you guys use the Premier protein drinks, which I am not a fan of. People buy them because they're cheap, and I understand that. You can get them at Costco, and they fall within the basic guidelines. But Premier actually just came out with a new one. It's the picture isn't here, but it's called Organic Premier, and you can still get it at Costco, but it does fall within the guidelines. It's sweetened with stevia. They don't use the bovine growth hormone. So probably as far as a price range, that the Premier uh, organic would be. So if you're going to get Premier, please look for the Premier Organic. It's brand new. It just came out. So those are the protein drinks. And remember, you're doing 2 to 3 of those a day. And then your meals, you're doing 2 meals a day. And basically what your meals need to consist of is at least 4 ounces of protein. It can be any animal protein at all, but you can do more. You have to have a minimum of 4 ounces of protein. So if you want to go out and have a 10-ounce steak, by all means go out and have a 10-ounce steak. And then you need 1 ounce of healthy fat in these meals. So, and of course as many vegetables as you want, and we'll go over these in a little bit more detail. So you guys, I give you this list, of course, and you're going to see some things down here that they're protein based, but it's also vegetables. Like you can do beans, you can do any type of beans you want. So I'll get a lot of questions about that. Seitan down here, it doesn't really have a flavor, but it's really high in protein. So basically it'll take on the protein of whatever you put it in. And for post-op, actually for the soft solid phase, because you can blend it up and stuff, that Seitan's another really good option. And a lot of times you can tolerate a little bit better maybe than chicken early on, but it has the same amount of protein, and it might actually have a little bit more. But you have a lot to choose from. So remember, at least 4 ounces, but you can have more, like I said, if you want. Healthy fats. Again, you have this list. You have to have at least 2 ounces. Again, if you have more. Now, let's say you don't want to have fat in your meal. You also could have like a serving of nuts in between. Like if you're somebody who likes to have snacks, you know, maybe you're doing 1 ounce or 2 of nuts in between your meals, and that helps you go from one meal to the next. And that's okay as well. Another one, it's not as healthy, but if you're doing a salad, it has it actually down here, I didn't realize, but so salad dressings, what you have to do with salad dressings, you have to read the label on everything, because there's no added sugar. So like obviously coconut oil, it's a pure fat, so there's not going to be any sugar in it. Your salad dressings, you don't want to do anything low fat or fat free, because all your low fat, fat free products actually have more sugar in them to make them taste better. So if you're going to do a salad dressing, just do, you know, if you're not going to do like olive oil and like vinegar or olive oil and, you know, lemon squeezed on it, then just look at the label and get, you know, something like your ranch dressings and things like that. They're going to be, you know, if you get the full fat one, then they're not going to have the sugar in them that you would get in a low fat version. Let's see. So food you want to avoid. So basically this is, you know, and sometimes on the packet I send you, it does get a little bit confusing, but it's at the very bottom. It's the longest list, and it's the longest list on there, and that's everything you can't have. But basically, it's all your, you know, your carbohydrates, your starches, so bread, rice, pasta, all your cereals, popcorn, and then anything in a jar that has sugar in it. So like spaghetti sauce, you wouldn't be able to have, because you'd look at it and you're going to see that it's loaded with sugar. There's no dairy, again, because dairy has sugar in it. So no milk products. You can do eggs, though. So eggs you are able to do. You don't want to do anything processed. Remember the 2 main goals. It's not just about shrinking the liver, that's why we cut the sugars out. But the other thing we're looking at is, remember, creating that alkaline environment. So that's why there's no processed meats, because a lot of times people ask me about bacon and, you know, some of these things that, again, they're just basically like bacon, salami, bologna, sausage, those are actually processed fats. So, but again, even though they don't have any sugar in them, the other purpose is to create that alkaline environment. So not only are you cutting out the carbs, but you're doing kind of like what you would think of as like a clean eating. So cutting out all the processed foods. So the foods that you might think are vegetables that you can't do are corn and peas and potatoes. So a lot of times people think those are vegetables, but those are actually starches. Oh, and then with the dairy, the other thing that gets a little confusing, like I said, there's no dairy, but so you're basically doing your pre-op for however long because it's going to change based on your BMI or your body mass index. So each person is going to be different. But your last 2 days of the diet are clear liquids, and you are doing yogurt on those days. So each day of your clear liquid, you're doing 2 Greek yogurts, and the reason you're doing that is for the probiotic in the yogurt. So 7 days prior to surgery, if you're doing any herbal supplements like Herbalife and stuff like that, you want to stop those. Medications, it's really specific. So either your coordinator or Jen, our medical liaison, you get a list of medications that you're supposed to stop ahead of time. You would call if you have any questions about your medications, you would reach out directly to her, and this is her information, and I send this in my pre-op packet as well, so if you have any questions. So basically I am a resource for you. You have any questions about vitamins, you have any questions about diet, pre or post-op, you have any questions, weight loss, vitamins, and your diet, that's me. If you have any questions about any medications, any medical questions, it would be Jen, and her direct extension is 139, and then her email is jen@sources.com. And like I said, I send that in my email to you as well. So then 2 days prior to surgery, you're going on anything that's clear liquids. Of course, because you're cutting out all food, because there's natural sugar in vitamins, I'm sorry, there's natural sugar in vegetables. So you are getting some sugar in the diet itself. But when you stop eating, you still want to stabilize your blood sugar. So you can do regular juice, you just don't need a lot of sugar. So you're doing the 2 Greek yogurts a day, which I recommend. There's a picture here, the 000. What you're looking for in your yogurt, you want to make sure that the protein is higher than the sugar. So and then this one here, Dannon's 000 is actually sweetened with stevia. So again, I think that's a better option than the other sugar substitutes. So you're going to do 2 of those a day, but then this is a list of drinks. Now, the other thing that for sugar-free products, you want to do things, again, looking for things that are sweetened with stevia, so vitamin water, Sobe Life water. Crystal Light has 2 different brands. You have the regular Crystal Light, and right next to it you have a Crystal Light Pure. It's called Crystal Light Pure, and it's in a white box, and I think it has a green leaf on it. That's sweetened with stevia. Regular Crystal Light is sweetened with aspartame. You don't want to use that. So start to find, if you're going to be using sugar-free products, almost everything has something with stevia in it. It's always going to be an option for you. So this is where you need to take the time, because you guys, you're having surgery, so I want you guys to start to really think about what you're putting in your mouth and why you're putting it in your mouth and what is it doing. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you through this process. So because you have this window of time that you want to retrain your taste buds, which taste buds are trainable. And I always tell people, remember most of us either drink coffee, wine, beer, and we didn't always like those things. That was an acquired taste because for whatever reason, we started drinking that stuff. But I remember the first time I had a cappuccino, I hated it, but that was like the cool thing to do, is drink cappuccinos, and now I love them, and even wine. So your taste buds can be trained, they can be changed, and so you want to obviously train your taste buds to support your, this goal that you have for yourself. So start to look at things, and if you're buying things with aspartame in them, if you're buying things with Splenda or sucralose in it, again, look for other options, the stevia options. And because it's not as sweet, like I said, it's only 150 times as sweet, it's not going to taste the same. Like some people are like, oh, I don't like it. It has a little bit of a bitter taste to it. But again, you'll learn to be okay with it over time. Because when you're going from something that's 700 times as sweet as regular sugar, yeah, it's not going to taste right if you do something that's only 150 times as sweet as regular sugar. Um, if you do coconut water, which is really great, coconut water, especially post-op too, is really high in electrolytes, so it's good, but you got to just again read the label, make sure you're getting a low sugar one. Some of them are really high in sugar, so make sure you look at the label, but those are really great options. If you do regular juice like apple juice, white grape juice, cranberry juice, you just want to water them down 50-50 with water. So, and a lot of these are your options on the plane. Like you can get cranberry juice or apple juice when you're on the plane. So, just make sure you dilute them with water 50-50. You can do sugar-free popsicles and sugar-free jello as well. And then of course, 8 hours prior to surgery, there's no fluids at all, so and no medications as well. And like I said, you can reach out to Chen if you have any questions about your medication. You know, with the bariatric vitamins, I go into a lot more detail in the post-op webinar, which I'm doing next Monday at the same time. But if you're looking at getting them, you won't start your vitamins until phase 2 after surgery. You do not need to take them pre-op. If you're already taking vitamins, yes, continue to take your vitamins, and you can take those right up until you have surgery. That's fine. But the bariatric specific vitamins, you'll start taking those in phase 2, like I said, somewhere around 7 to 10 days after surgery. And the reason for that is they're very strong. And if you take them on an empty stomach, you can get really, really sick. So you want to wait till you're getting protein in and able to get that, get enough protein in. And once you can do that, then you'll start taking your vitamins. And so, again, with vitamins, you don't want a generic vitamin. So you don't have the same digestive enzymes after surgery. And I can't tell you how many people I talk to that just go to the store and they buy vitamins and then they call me and it's not the right forms, and because you don't have the same digestive enzymes, you're not going to absorb certain things. So they need to be in specific forms for you to absorb them. Like, so for example, B12 after surgery. So B12 needs a carrier to get through. That carrier is called intrinsic factor. Well, after surgery, the part of the stomach that produces intrinsic factor is either removed or bypassed, so you no longer have that. So if you don't get sublingual B12, it's not being absorbed. So I can't tell you how much time I spend either via email or on the phone with people that go out and buy vitamins and then they bought the wrong version and it's wasted, it's just wasted money. And again, you have to think about, remember what I said, you guys are going from the size of a flattened football to the size of your thumb. It's going to take you months just to get to the baseline of what you're supposed to get to stay just nourished. So for sure the first 6 months, I say to at least a year, you really need high quality bariatric vitamins. I think it's really important. Gummy vitamins, I'm definitely not a big fan of. One, they're usually loaded with sugar, so please read the labels. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to on the phone, and I'm like, okay, let's pull out your vitamins, and we've added up 35 grams of sugar just in their vitamins. And for optimal fat loss, your sugar intake is supposed to be under 25 grams. Well, if your vitamins alone are 35 grams, you're in trouble. And then the other thing too, you're usually taking, like I said, there is so many vitamins out there, and I am not, you have to be a biochemist to really be an expert in vitamins. So it's not my expertise as far as vitamins. There's a lot of different brands out there, but I do know, because people call me all the time and say, what about this one and what about this? You almost always have to take around 4 vitamins to equate to 1 serving of a bariatric vitamin. So, and that's why a lot of times the sugar content ends up being so high. So I definitely highly recommend a bariatric vitamin. I I like Emerge Bariatrics, and it's a specific formula off of the Celebrate vitamins, which a lot of you know that I like. And the reason for that is again, I'm looking for something that you guys can take. It is a chewable, so again, it's not, and it's a vitamin, but you still want it to taste halfway decent. So looking for something that, um, and actually patients, this was, several years ago, I did a study and a taste test study as far as we did a bunch of bariatric vitamins, and Celebrate was one of the number one vitamins chosen as far as flavor. So as far as being okay to take in, that's taste for you guys. But the other thing is what's in it. So again, as I said, I'm not a big fan of sugar substitutes, and so, Emerge Bariatrics uses I'm sorry, sugar alcohols. So again, so they're a lot closer to regular sugar than sugar substitutes. So anyways, if you want to go to emergebariatrics.com, just as a thank you for being on this call, you can get 15% off, and you would just have to use this code. So you might want to write it down. So JAN January 15 is the code, and that is going to be available for the next 24 hours. Let's see. So why choose MBC over other places? If you might be at a place where you're just looking. One, the fact that you're on this call, like you're not going to find the support that you have through MBC at other places. So the support system that you have here is amazing, and you don't have to pay any additional money for my services or Jen's services. The surgeons, this is amazing to me because I've worked with a lot of surgeons in the United States as well, really top-notch surgeons. But the fact that MBC only does 3 to 4 surgeries a day is unheard of. So your surgeons are very alert, they're very attentive. They specialize in bariatrics, so they've performed thousands of surgeries. And the American Society of Bariatrics did research, and what they found is hospitals and surgeons that perform over 100 surgeries annually, they found that there was a drastic decrease in what's happening post-op, as far as you're healing faster, you have shorter stays in the hospital, lower morbidity and mortality. So obviously, if all of those things are decreased, then the cost is going to get decreased. That's it, you guys. So like I said, I email all of you guys, but if I haven't already and you you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is my information. My direct extension is 133. My email is prudence@sources.com. And then let's see here. Oh, and I'm sorry. So the site has changed. I'm sorry, I need to change this. So it's Emerge. Let me see here. What did I just tell you? So it's emergebariatrics.com. This one probably still works as well too, but I'll probably forward you to the other one. So what I'm going to do now, you guys, is go to the questions. So let's see here. Any question? Oh, let's look here. Okay, so here. It says, I have a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, I own my own business, and a full-time college course load. I survive on caffeine. Is there any way that I can get caffeine on the pre-op diet? So again, I just told you, I can't tell you the number of people that afterwards they tell me they wish they had listened to me. So I just want to tell you that you set yourself up to have that severe acid reflux. So imagine yourself so sick that you can't even get your fluids in, and you're so tired and you're so drained, and so do you really want to set yourself up for that? So I'm not there with you, and so it's going to be your choice to cut it out. I would do your best to cut it out the absolute minimum 7 days. It makes a huge impact post-op. So, and it could be a lot worse after surgery. So if you have this heavy load, you want to be at your best post-op. And there's so many people that'll tell you they followed what I told them to a T. They did everything exactly like I said, and they feel great afterwards. They have no problems at all. And that's what you want for yourself. Because if you have severe acid reflux, it's not 7 days. It can be weeks. It can be months of that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. It's going to be up to you to make that decision for yourself. Um, can I repost the raw information again? Yeah, I sure can. Let's see here. So let me just back up here real quick. So I'll leave that up here. There we go. So here's the raw information. Okay. Do I continue to use it after surgery? Yeah. So, well, the recommendation is 6 weeks. So this is what I tell people, and I learned this from you guys. It's interesting because again, like you guys, like I said, you guys don't have the same same bariatric vitamins. Goodness gracious, the same digestive enzymes after surgery. But the recommendation is to take it for 6 weeks. So if you can take it for 6 weeks before surgery, great. If you're only taking it, let's say 2 weeks before surgery, then you want to pick it back up post-op for 4 weeks. Now, even with that said, what I'm finding, and like I said, this is what I've been learning from patients, is even if people take it, some people, this is not everybody, but even if some people take it pre-op for 6 weeks, what they told me, some people have that, they still have severe nausea afterwards. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their diet was. I'm not sure because everybody's different. But what I found is some people need to take it post-op even if they did take it pre-op for 6 weeks. And they've said that the only way they don't have the nausea is if they take that probiotic. So what I tell people to do is take it for 6 weeks for sure. And what you want to do is rotate. So basically every 3 to 4 months, just take it for 6 weeks. But you don't have to continually take it unless you're that person that has severe nausea. If you have severe nausea, then continue to take it because it's going to help you. Have you heard about the Inspire protein? Oh yeah, so bariatric eating .com is great, and Inspire is the flavor is fantastic. It's not free of the bovine growth hormone. I don't think, I haven't been on her site. I've seen her grow, like I said, because I've specialized in bariatrics for over 12 years. So she kind of just got started with that website when I was early on. So it's expanded a lot. The Inspire Shake is great as far as flavor. I think she's made some changes. Like I think she flavors it with stevia now, which is great. So yes, it's fine. It falls within the guideline. The only thing I don't know is if it's free of the bovine growth hormone. So let's see. Did you say to, let's see, are you speaking? Did you say to stop the probiotics beforehand when stopping herbal supplements? No, you actually stop the probiotic 2 days before surgery when you go on the clear liquid diet. So you're gonna use the probiotic right up to the clear liquids and then stop because you're not gonna have any food in your system, so you're not gonna want to take it. During the clear liquid time, can I empty my raw probiotic into my drinks, yogurt, or do I stop them altogether? Actually, so that's a good point. So if you want, I've always just tell people to stop it on the clear liquid days. You can take, if you're going to take it with your yogurt, then yes, you can take it right up until surgery if you take it with the yogurt. Let's see, how do we know how long to do this pre-op diet? So when I send you the email, it's based on your body mass index. So just shoot me an email if you're already registered, and then I can look you up and send the information. How do we sign in? So Alexis, you're asking me how do you sign in? I'm not sure what you're asking me there. Oh, somebody's not hearing anything. Okay. So anyways, I apologize if you guys weren't able to hear anything. I apologize for that. Shoot. Let's see here. Okay. Um, I have been using a shake power from Vi non-GMO soy. My surgery is on the 23rd. Should I change now? Um, no. Again, and if I would not rely on soy-based products 100% soy. They're just, it's really not the best protein to be using, really. So use whatever you have, but in the future, because you guys are doing, like I said, 2 to 3 protein shakes, and then even post-op, I mean, until you can get your food up, I mean, you rely on protein drinks a lot, and you will be for a long, long time. So, it's a soy-based protein. You know, what you might, and if it's 100% soy, if it's a mixed shake with, let's say, pea, rice, and some soy, then that's fine. You can even use that post-op. But no, you can use that until it's gone. Okay, so let's see. Shoot. I'm sorry, you guys. For those of you that didn't get to hear me, I'm just hearing this now. Gosh. If you eat 8 ounces of salmon, does that count for your fat? Yes, that's a great question, Candace. So a salmon has your essential fat in it as well, so that's perfect. Is black or green tea okay? Yes, you can definitely do tea. And even if you want to squeeze lemon in it, you can do that as well, because lemon, like apple cider vinegar, is really, again, it's acidic, but it's alkaline to the body. Is it okay to mix fruit into the protein drinks? Yeah. So with that, and I talk about this in the pre-op packet as well. So because fruit is high in sugar, so the only thing you can do is you can do a half a cup of berries or a half of a cup of a banana, which is about a quarter of a banana. That is it, and you can put that in your protein shake, and nothing else, no other options. Is the Tespo bariatric vitamins okay? No. I was so excited when the Tespo came out. Oh my gosh, I was like, because there's no fillers, there's no additives. Like I said, I'm a holistic dietitian, and I was just ecstatic. I got so excited, and then, and because it's interesting, because they have one actually that says is specifically for bariatrics. If you compare, so when I send you the pre-op packet, I tell you everything you need in a vitamin, and the Tespo bariatric vitamin doesn't even come close. So even though it's a fantastic product, it really is fantastic because it doesn't have it doesn't have any crap in it and all this, that a lot of the vitamins have. So from that perspective, I love the Tespo, but it's expensive, and you're going to have to do the Tespo, plus you're going to have to still take a bunch of other things. And just from knowing human behavior, most people don't want to do that. You're not going to want to spend a lot of money and then still take a bunch of stuff on top of it. And you got to do something that you're going to take. It's really important. Is there a private support group going through the process so all who are on this can chat together? Yeah, we have, Kyla, we have the Facebook support page. And so if you don't have the link for that, then if you just email me, I can send that to you. You do have to be you already have to be signed up. It's because I run that Facebook page, so it's only for NBC registered clients. But if you are already registered to have surgery, then yes, you can be on it. And it's amazing. It's such a great support. So many people have told me that they're on a lot of other bariatric support groups, and they say this one by far is far better. Is this the question box? Yes, this is the question box. Just to clarify, no yogurt on pre-op diet until 2 days before surgery. Yes, I know it's a little confusing. So there's no dairy the whole time, and then 2 days before, and again, it's because of the probiotic, then you do the yogurt. Now, if you're somebody who absolutely hates yogurt, then you don't need to do the yogurt. You don't need to force it, as long as you do the probiotic supplement that I talked about right now that's on the screen. Okay. Less than 2 grams of fiber. Candace, you're asking me about fiber. Was that correct? Yeah, well, you want it as low as possible. It's hard to say, but you just wanna get one that has no fiber, or you know Yeah, 2 to 3 grams. You definitely don't want one that has 5 or more grams, because you just won't be able to get it in post-op. Okay. Oh shoot, what did I just lost my. Okay, okay, thanks. Let's see. Should we use low sodium bouillon for our broth? No, not necessarily. I will tell you, this is a post-op tip, but if you're going out and buying broth, there you can go to like Sprouts, Whole Foods, places like that, Trader Joe's. You want to get bone, you can get bone broth. If you're going to buy broth anyways, you don't necessarily, I mean, it's healthier, but really for the broth for post-op. So if you're going to go out and buy broth because you're going to do 2 days of clear liquids before surgery, and then you're going to have surgery, and then you're going to do 5 to 7 days of clear liquids post-op. So bone broth by Jarrow, it's Jarrow. It's in a container and it's powder. So you can just add hot water, so it's easy to carry around, but it's got collagen in it, and so as far as it from a nutrition perspective, that's the best broth to do. If you're not going to make your own bone broth, then that's really good to do. That was the reference. Let's see. What about Juice Plus Complete Protein Shakes? Jared, I'm not as familiar with those, so if you can shoot me the label, shoot me the food label on it and email that to me and let me take a look at it and then I can tell you. But I don't know what's in it, so I can't answer that question right now. What about mayo? Yeah, so Brittany, you want to know if you can do mayo on pre-op? Yeah, so that's a fat. So as long as you look at the label, so you can do mayo, but you can't do Miracle Whip. Why? Because Miracle Whip has sugar in it. So anything, just always look at the food label, and if it has sugar in it, then you can't have it. The only time you're not going to be able to do this, let's say you buy frozen vegetables, you have to remember vegetables have natural sugars in them. So you're going to look at a bag of vegetables and you might see 5 grams of sugar. Well, it's natural sugar, so it's fine. You just don't want any added vitamin or added, I'm sorry, I'm reading a question and trying to answer this at the same time. You don't want any added sugar. What about vitamin patches? Yeah, so a lot of people ask me about those. This one's hard for me. So because I always tell what they're brand new. So is there one that's specifically for bariatric patients? Yes, there is. Is it my top recommendation? No. And the reason I have 2 reasons for that. One is what the research says is a lot of the vitamins are not absorbed well. And even for me, how is calcium absorbed through the skin? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't understand the process of it. But again, I'm not a biochemist. So, but the research is saying that people are deficient when they use the patches. And so then what I've done is I've asked people that have used the patches to reach out to us, let me know when you do your follow-up. So basically post-op, you're doing follow-up blood work 3, 6, 9, and 12 months after surgery, because because it's easy to get malnourished, so we want to catch it really quickly if you are. And honestly, it's been 50-50. So the people that have gotten back to us, some people are like they've done their follow-up blood work and everything's perfect. But just as many people have emailed me and said, even though they're doing the patch, all their labs were horrible. They weren't taking vitamins at all. And I don't know what causes that. So some people do absorb well and some people don't. So it's not my top recommendation. All I'm going to say is if you do use them, then definitely make sure you're doing your follow-up blood work. So if you do end up being deficient, then you're going to catch it really quickly. The only time I recommend the patches is some people, their stomach is really sensitive. So, and you're going to know this already. So I'll get emails and somebody will say, they can't even do a regular vitamin because bariatric vitamins are really strong. So if you throw up or you get nauseous or you get sick just from a regular vitamin, then you're not going to be able to tolerate a bariatric vitamin. Those people that can't tolerate vitamins, those are the people that I would recommend the patch to because they don't have another option. Actually, Celebrate does a protein powder. It's amazing. So it's called the Celebrate 4-in-1, and it's your protein powder and it's all your vitamins all in one protein drink. And so, well, actually, I think you got to do 2 protein drinks a day, and if and that's another one that I think is good as well. What is the 30-20-30 rule you mentioned? So because your pouch is so small, if you drink fluids, you fill your pouch up. So because it's so hard for you guys to eat, um, you know, it's hard to stay nourished. When you're eating, you can't drink. So the 30-20-30 is no fluids 30 minutes before your meal, the 20 minutes while you're eating, and then the 30 minutes afterwards. And this is really important. And this is a training, you know, because I've specialized in bariatrics for as long as I have, you know, pretty much everything I tell you guys to do, I do too. And it just becomes a way of life. Like after a while, you won't even think about it, but early on, it's hard. So it's better to start that now. There are so many changes that you guys have to make with having surgery. Anybody that says getting surgery is taking the easy way out, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea the changes you guys have to make. So there's just so many things you have to do. The earlier you can start with some of this, the better. What laxative should we be taking 3 days before surgery? Jared, that actually, the surgeons just made a change. That's why you didn't see it on the webinar. So you no longer have to do the laxative. So you can actually, if I probably sent the information out to you before we updated the packet. So yeah, great question. Actually, thank you for asking that. So for all of you that have the packet that says you have to do the laxative, you can skip that 3 days before surgery. So it's just the diet, and then you're doing 2 days of clear liquids. When can you expect to do the pre-op? See the pre-op packet? Oh, well, he's no longer on the call, but if you're wondering, just email me. If you're wanting it, then and you don't have it already, just shoot me an email and I'll send it to you. When is a good time to start the apple cider vinegar? It tells to start the probiotics 6 weeks before. So I do it. I do the apple cider vinegar. It's literally, apple cider vinegar literally is the easiest and cheapest preventative medicine you can ever do for yourself. So start it now, or start it when you have time to go buy it. Disease itself, disease can only grow in an acidic state. So if your body's alkaline, then disease can never grow. So it is like one of the best things to do for yourself, just for, like I said, for preventative medicine. Okay. Will you explain what you meant by 30-20-30? I already did that. Yep. Awesome. Okay, any other questions, you guys? This was fantastic. Thank you guys so much for all of the amazing questions. Anything else? Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Let me see. Nutrition, about Juice Plus nutrition caps. I don't think so. You know, the Juice Plus, capsules. So I talked, because I actually used to be a fan of Juice Plus just based on, you know, the marketing and what I learned. And I talked to a formulator, a guy that formulated like protein powders and stuff like that. And he said it was impossible to have that much nutrition in that small amount of powder. Like if you just kind of think about, if you open up the capsules and look at them. So again, if it's something you're using and you like it, you just want to make sure you do your follow-up blood work, you know, because your supplements are not something you want to mess around with. So that's what I have to say. Again, I'm not a biochemist, so it's hard for me to say about some of these, because some of them sound good and they look good, but then when you really think about it, it's like, how can they have all that in such a tiny amount of powder? Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Like I said, if you have any other questions or if you want the packet, just shoot me an email at prudence@sources.com. Or again, my direct extension is 133. Okay, have a good night. Bye.